My husband and I have been struggling a bit financially because we're saving up to purchase a new apartment. He is used to eating fast food when he went to work, and he would spend more than $300 a month, which is about $20 daily. I talked to him about it, and he agreed that I would make him sandwiches for him to take to work. Everything was going well, and I noticed he wouldn't respond when I asked whether he liked the sandwiches I made, but kept asking me to make more than two since he was always hungry. Yesterday, he came home with some friends and coworkers, and we sat at a dinner table when his friend brought up the sandwiches. He said they're delicious, but they're a bit pricey. I was confused, so I asked him to explain, and he said I'm 29 weeks pregnant with the baby boy. My husband and I were really excited when we found out because a few years ago we suffered from an unfortunate loss of our baby at 24 weeks. Our baby just wasn't developing correctly, and there was nothing we could do. It was just one of those sad things. I went to therapy for it and came to terms with it, but my husband never did. As much as I asked and begged, he didn't go. Now, every time we go to a doctor appointment, he essentially has a panic attack talking about how we're gonna lose this baby too. It's been happening since I found out I was pregnant, so it's been 29 weeks of this. After my last appointment while coming home, my husband told me we should start considering. My sister-in-law and I have an agreement where she watches the kids 3 days a week and I watch hers 3 days a week. A couple of weeks ago, we had an argument, and the next day I brought my kids to her house and dropped them off and left. When I got to work, I had 20 missed calls, all from my sister-in-law saying I need to pick up the kids because she doesn't want to watch them due to our fight. And I had 45 minutes to get there or else she'll call the cops. It took me about an hour to get back to her house, but she already called the cops, so I had to stick around long enough to tell the officer that I didn't abandon my children. It was just miscommunication. I have since arranged for other childcare for my kids, and I've been mostly ignoring her. However, she reached out and apologized. I met a girl through Plenty of Fish and dated her for a year. She lived 6 minutes up the street from me, so we saw each other quite often. Both of us were quite introverted, so we mainly only hung out with each other. We both considered the relationship to be serious and exclusive. Anyways, right from the start of the relationship, I noticed that she would text this one guy pretty frequently. I asked her about him, and she told me that he was her tattoo artist. Just to be snoopy, I checked out the website of the place she gets her tattoos done. Sure enough, there was a tattoo artist there with the same first name as the guy in her phone, but the last name was different. I asked her about it, and she quickly called me out for being paranoid, and how it was ridiculous to think that she would lie to me. I found her profile on the app that might look like hers, but obviously no pictures. I catfished it, and it turned out to be her. She was back on Plenty of Fish and looking for guys. I had all the evidence I needed, and I was going to confront her with it and break up with her. However, I thought if I'm going to break up with her, I'm going to message the Facebook profile I had found that matched the name of the guy in her phone. He gets back to me immediately. We converse, and it turns out that he is her boyfriend. I had been her second boyfriend the entire time. She met him 2 months before she met me. She bounced back between me and him for an entire year. Neither me or him knew about each other. He saw my name in her phone once, and she said that for most of my life, my sister has been wanting kids, but has been unable to carry a baby to full term, in part due to endometriosis. She was in a lot of pain and had to have a hysterectomy. My sister and her husband have fostered 5 children and have adopted 2 children with autism and are great parents. They have a good home environment and are financially very well off, but they've had the urge to have a kid biologically related to them. So they asked me to be their surrogate and said that they would cover all costs associated with it. They would also be paying off my student debt, renting a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 years, plus giving me a substantial amount of cash. I said sure,